Okay. Can I have you just introduce yourself real quick, Gloria?
Well, I'm Gloria Henkle. I've lived in Elk River since 1951. I was probably in my 20s when I came here. We had 2 small children, and then we now had 5. There's 3 more.
And what was it like in Elk River when you moved here?
Well, it was where we were on a farm. We were out very close to where the golf course is now. And it was all small farms. Everybody, I think just about everybody that I knew milked at least a few cows and shipped milk. There may have been 1 or 2 who separated and shipped cream to some creamery. Our milk went into Minneapolis. We were part of the Twin City Milk Association, which is now Mid-Am, I guess it is. And we were with that even after it became Mid-Am. And we were just on the perimeter of how far out the Twin Cities producing area went. I think then a few years later it went as far as Big Lake. I don't know how far it went north.
Okay.
Probably Zimmerman or a little better.
How many, what was the size of your farm? How many?
Well, we had a little over 300 acres, but a lot of it was not. It was small fields. There was a lot of woods, some low places, and we had one field that was very close to the house, and that was pretty much peat, which is very low. And that's where we always planted our corn for silage, and we were lucky. We had a nice barn, which about 10 years later we built 10 more stalls and and then a couple of pens on that. And then in 1974, we bought a few acres across the road and built a 60-cow barn with a hay shed. And that now is being used for boat and car storage. And it was a nice barn, and I think it was in 1957 that we started shipping in bulk rather than tanks, than in cans.
Okay.
And then but it seems like the whole area then changed. A lot of this, I think there were certain government programs where they were paid to leave land idle. And so a lot of the small farms went into that, I'm sure. I'm not sure, but I think that's the way it probably was.
And now you had told me that you remember when the golf course was built and some of the brouhaha over that. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I think, I'm not even sure what year that might have been. Probably in the early 60s is probably when the golf course was built. And I do remember that some of the neighborhood kind of shied that. I guess they thought this town was getting too close or something. And but I was very excited about it, even though in all those years I think I've only been on that golf course once or twice, and that was just a ride with my husband. But I just I just thought, well, that's nice. We need that, because I think at one time years and years ago there was a golf course. Maybe it was just a 9-hole or something, and I don't even know where it was, but I think there had been where this was an 18-hole.
And now you said you also remembered one of the major fires that was downtown, right around Kemper Drug.
I don't, I just barely remember, I think it was about 1959 or 60. And when it was a cold, cold January day when that fire, and I remember it destroyed the drugstore. And it's probably damaged, there was a little restaurant behind the it wasn't a part of the building, but behind the drugstore that I think that was damaged, and it had to be rebuilt or whatever. And like I said, I remember distinctly Mr. Kemper turning white overnight practically. And then he set up over, and well, it's the building that burned where the Newton Park is now. He set up in a little part of that building while he was rebuilding, and he didn't go up where there had been apartments. He just built a very nice one-story building, which still stands and has its third owner since him, or second, and